Let me set the scene. You're at a party, and a woman you barely know strides up to you, flashing a confident smile. She laughs at your jokes, brushes your arm, and makes it clear she's interested. Now, you might be thinking, wow, that's flattering. For some men, overt interest activates the dopamine rush, the brain's natural reward system, making them feel validated and wanted. But here's the twist. While boldness can be magnetic, when it shifts into what feels like desperation, constant texting, uninvited appearances, the initial spark can flicker out fast. Think of attraction like a game of chess, not checkers. The anticipation, the subtle moves, the occasional missed call, these are all part of the dance our brains, and especially our limbic system, crave. So, is chasing always a turnoff? Not at first, but as we'll see, it's the perception of scarcity, not abundance, that often fuels lasting desire. Why do so many men recoil when they feel pursued too aggressively? Let me tell you, it messes with one of our ancient scripts. From evolutionary psychology, men are often wired to be the hunter, chasing after the prize. Suddenly, when a woman flips the script, some men feel a jolt, a loss of the chase, which is called the pursuit paradox. Imagine you've been training for a marathon, but halfway through, the trophy runs up and hands itself to you. Where's the thrill? The cortisol, the stress hormone that pushes us to try harder, never spikes. Does this mean men want women to play hard to get? Not exactly. But when the hunter role is inverted, it can unsettle expectations, leaving some men confused or even uneasy. So, the next time you see a guy looking bewildered when pursued, remember, he might be wrestling with instincts thousands of years old. Now, what exactly comes across as desperate? Is it texting first? Calling twice in a row? Let me break it down with a story. A friend of mine, James, once told me about a woman who would double text, show up at his work, and even send gifts after their first date. Instead of feeling special, he felt suffocated. Why? Because those behaviors triggered his threat detection circuits, namely, the amygdala, signaling that things were moving too fast, too soon. To be clear, expressing interest isn't the problem. It's the intensity and frequency, like an algorithm that keeps refreshing the page, desperate for a new result. So, if you're wondering where the line is, ask, does my attention feel like a gift or a demand? Let's talk economics, relationship economics, to be precise. In any market, scarcity drives value. The less accessible something is, the more we tend to want it. Now, when a woman throws herself at a man, proclaiming devotion before he's invested, it can trigger thoughts like, if it's this easy, is it really valuable? That's the principle of supply and demand at work in attraction. If attention feels abundant, we unconsciously lower its perceived worth. Think of it this way. If you could have filet mignon every night, would it taste as special as the rare occasion you treat yourself? So, here's the paradox. Sometimes holding back just a little makes you stand out far more than chasing ever could. There's a key difference between authentic interest and overcompensation. Men can sense it sometimes subconsciously when someone's intent isn't genuine but driven by insecurity. Ever heard of attachment theory? It explains why people with anxious attachment styles may pursue love more aggressively, seeking constant reassurance. For many men, over-the-top pursuit reads as a red flag, an emotional pop-up ad signaling neediness rather than desire. It's not about playing games, but about showing up as your whole self, confident, grounded, and not in need of external validation. So, if you catch yourself overcompensating, pause. Ask, am I sharing my feelings? Or am I outsourcing my self-worth? Here's the inside scoop. Men are constantly, if quietly, assessing self-respect and boundaries in women. A woman who chases relentlessly may be perceived as lacking standards, which some men equate with low self-respect. Psychologists call this mate value calibration. Now you might be thinking, isn't it brave to go after what you want? Absolutely. But when pursuit crosses the line into persistence despite mixed signals, it can come off as disregard for one's own boundaries. Ironically, it's self-respecting restraint, not relentless pursuit, that often earns admiration and curiosity. So, remember, healthy relationships are built on mutual pursuit, not one-sided sacrifice. Now, let's get honest about double standards. When a man is persistent, he's often called romantic or determined. When a woman does it, she risks being labeled desperate. This isn't just social bias, it's programmed in our cultural scripts. Sociologists call this gendered courtship roles, and it shapes how both men and women interpret pursuit. But what if we flip the script? What if assertive women were celebrated, not shamed? Some men, especially those tired of outdated norms, actually crave a woman who takes initiative, seeing it as a breath of fresh air. So, is it about what you do or how you do it? Maybe the real answer lies in authenticity and context, not old-fashioned labels. Here's the reality check. While shameless pursuit can be exciting in the moment, it rarely translates into long-term attraction for most men. Neuroscience tells us about the Coolidge effect, where novelty spikes interest, but only for a short burst. A man may feel flattered, even exhilarated, by the chase-free dynamic, but sustaining that spark takes more than initial excitement. Without a sense of mystery or emotional depth, attraction can fade as quickly as it flared, like a sugar rush that leaves you hungry all over again. So, if you're looking for more than a fleeting connection, sometimes slow-burning embers outlast the brightest flames. Let's talk about something few admit men care about: what their friends think. A man seen with a woman who's openly chasing him may face jokes, judgment, or admiration, depending on the group. Ever heard of social proof? It's a psych term for how group opinion shapes individual choices, like preferring a busy restaurant over an empty one. If his peers see her as too eager, it can affect the man's own feelings, sometimes subconsciously. Peer validation, or lack thereof, acts like a hidden algorithm, influencing attraction. Now, should anyone live their life by groupthink? Absolutely not. But let's not pretend social context doesn't play a role in matters of the heart. At the end of the day, authenticity trumps approval. But awareness of these dynamics can help you navigate them with confidence. Here's another angle. When a woman pursues relentlessly, some men fear she'll become emotionally dependent, leading to what psychologists call enmeshment. Picture this: instead of a partnership, it feels like one person is emotionally investing for two, a heavy load to carry. Men and women too often want a partner who can stand on their own, adding joy rather than seeking rescue. It's the difference between being wanted versus being needed. So, if you're worried about coming off as too eager, check in with yourself. Are you looking to share your happiness or have someone else create it for you? Healthy attraction is about interdependence, not codependence. Let's shift gears. Today's world is changing fast. Assertive women are rewriting the rules, and plenty of men are loving it. Thanks to changing gender roles and the influence of feminism, many men now see initiative as a sign of confidence and emotional intelligence. Terms like emotional availability and secure attachment are now sought-after qualities. Assertiveness, when paired with self-respect, is magnetic. Still, there's a fine line between confidence and desperation, just as there's a difference between leadership and micromanagement. So, if you're boldly making the first move, own it. Authentic self-assurance is irresistible. Let's bring it all home. Do men dislike women who make the first move? Not at all. What matters isn't pursuit itself, but the energy behind it. Desperation reads as insecurity, an algorithm that flags red alert to the unconscious mind. Confidence, on the other hand, signals high value and self-respect. Mutual pursuit, where both parties invest, flirt, and build tension, is where real connection happens. So, the next time you're tempted to chase, ask yourself, am I seeking connection or validation? Am I inviting partnership or demanding attention? At the end of the day, the strongest attraction is built not on desperation, but on respect, curiosity, and a little bit of mystery.